here today. This is Hesha Chima, and joining me for a conversation today is Anshuka Parvani, aka Anshuka Yoga. Hi.
Hi, so excited to be here.
Me too. After all the back and forth, we finally made it, although virtually.
Mhm.
But as I told you even before the chat, I'm coming to you super soon, and we'll do one of those things
I
make
I
everybody
can't
else
wait
do.
for that. Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Me too. Anshika, what brings me here today is there are a whole bunch of questions that I had in my mind because I feel like somehow this is just the season for like everybody either getting married or having babies. And then there's also a shift in the younger generation between the 20s and, the early 30s and late 30s where they really want to be fit and are moving towards yoga and mental health and like overall well-being. And like, who better person than you to sort of have this chat with? Because as I said, you're also now known as Anshuka Yoga, a celebrity yoga instructor. People have eyeballs on you. Take me through a little bit of, to begin with, how did the whole onset of, Anshuka Yoga happen? And then how is it that you eventually sort of managed and navigated into becoming, a celebrity instructor of sorts? Like, how was your journey like?
Quickly, I'm an ex-commercial pilot turned yoga instructor, yogapreneur, like I call myself, because I'm doing so much with yoga and wellness. I was bedridden for a while because of a near fatal motorbike accident, and yoga came into my life as purely yoga lifestyle, which sort of pivoted me to understand the magic of yoga. So I could walk again after maybe a year and a half. And because I was bedridden, I couldn't walk. I was on crutches. I had multiple fractures. I had a cranial fracture. It was really, really bizarre. I feel like I'm talking about a third person now. Um, and quickly, when yoga came into my life, it was magical. What it did to me, more than just your physical trauma, all the other trauma that came with the motorbike accident, or anyone's been through any kind of trauma would probably understand. So, what I felt through the practice, I knew that this is what I want to do. And immediately, when it was time to go back to the airlines, I realized that I don't want to go back to the airlines anymore. I'll probably continue flying planes as a hobby, but not as a career. And I was 100% sure my purpose. I know a lot of people talk about your purpose in life, and I felt like for me, I really wanted to share that with as many people as I can without them having to go through what I did. And honestly, looking at life holistically is so important. I have been an athlete growing up, so I understand how important even mental health is. Of course, it's gotten very popular now, but even back then, sitting with the family, sitting with your coaches, we take care of every real aspect of you and nurturing you growing up. So for me, I really wanted to share that. And when it comes to like Bollywood actors, my first student, it was not like my first celebrity student. My first student was Kareena Kapoor Khan. So Bebo was my first student. And honestly, right after that, it was just a ripple effect where at one point I was only training a lot of actors from the entertainment industry, right? And soon after is when I got my studio, and then I built community, because I also realized that I really enjoy the energy of community. And I want the idea and purpose of me to do this was to share it with as many people as I can. And the idea, and I cannot restrict myself to any kind of people, right? I want to just share as much as I can. So that's how Anshuka Yoga really came into play.
Wow, lovely. Very inspiring as well. And you have mentioned earlier about, Bebo being your first student as well. I want you to tell me from then to now, what has sort of changed? Because I'm sure when she came to you first, her body goals, aspiration, everything must have been very different, right? Vis-a-vis right now, because, and the reason I'm asking you this is because many of us are in that transitioning, like where we're like, transitioning from our late 20s, going into our 30s, and so on and so forth. So what you as Anshuka tell, people who come to you from that age bracket specifically?
One thing I can tell you that has stayed consistent is the holistic approach of practice. So Bebo from day one has been, it wasn't about just being physically agile and fit. It's always been an entire 360 of taking care of everything holistically. So that's one thing that's stayed constant. Of course, then there's been a marriage, then there's been a husband, then there have been two kids. And now, of course, body goals have been very different according to specific characters, because what they do is, I mean, You really have to fit into character. Sometimes she's a cop, sometimes she's playing something else. Very recently for the crew, she was this really beautiful, sexy cabin crew, so things like that. But I feel like when we look at our practice, every single time we're always strategizing in the sense that we have to keep the umbrella holistic. But of course, if we know that we need to sort of use more strength, use more endurance sort of practices, because after you start growing up, especially with women, you have to make sure that you're pushing the strength. You need to start resistance training, and I know a lot of yogis or the yoga world is so against, using equipment or using weights, but I love the hybrid versions. I think that you have to keep adapting, you have to keep growing. So the great part about Bebo is I've been with her through it all, and that trajectory we've played. We do a lot of practices. I also share that on my Instagram and my social pages where we do use external weights, because it is important, to push into that muscle, to push into that bone density, because you're losing it so much more and rapidly after your 30s.
Yeah.
And of course, when you just had a baby, for example, when you're trying to conceive or prenatal, your practices are very different. They're very restricted. Of course, there's a lot of fun things to do, but they are restrictive. Postpartum is a whole 9 months game. A lot of people think that, now we've delivered a baby and we can immediately get back onto the mat or the gym in 40 days, but that is a gradual transition.
Right.
So keeping in mind that hormonal play, keeping in mind those holistic practices, I think we've been very goal oriented, where we know that, okay, if I remember after Jay was born, we had a target that, okay, it was a very realistic target that after 9 months or maybe a certain, I don't remember the accurate months, but it was a very holistic way of looking at it, that I need to get to look a certain way by this time. There were never like crash diets or like crazy, sort of repertoires that I was forming where there were injuries or where we were pushing ourselves, which our body couldn't take. So I feel like we've been very, very holistic with that. And I have to add that one thing that I've learned from her is self-love. I think self-love, people talk about it so much, but she just naturally is all about self-love. It comes to her so naturally. So the discipline and that sort of aspect is what I've really learned.
Wow. Yeah, Bebo is all about that. Like, we've also been lucky to have interacted with her, and we know exactly what you're talking about. Like, her goals are very realistic.
Yeah, she just loves.
She's love. She's disciplined. But, Anshuka, even for you as an instructor, first of all, thank God that you busted so many myths in this answer for us, where you spoke about, like, how one can be experimental, and you've been sort of offering that to the people who you've been training. But discipline also is a huge part of it. Like, I feel like and it's discipline, I think, two ways. It's your discipline and then the actor's discipline, specifically when they're working towards, say, a role, like you said, right?
Correct.
What I do want to understand is how difficult, or maybe how easy or how gradual is the process when somebody who's just delivered then sort of has to resume back and work, and because you already have your schedule in mind, like after like tak months mujhe set pe jana hai, right? So then what's your process like? Let's say probably Deepika's just delivered right now. Eventually she's going to be on the set. You trained her, and the picture was very cute, by the way, Anshuka.
Thank. I know. Oh my God. Like that connection that I have with everyone and their babies is just magical, because I'm constantly talking to the baby through it all,
Yeah.
So when you're practicing, because yoga is such an energy exchange, it's just beautiful. So it's very overwhelming, and it's just a beautiful process, I have to tell you. Quickly coming to postnatal bodies, no two pregnancies are the same. That's one thing I've learned through my entire time that I've been teaching. No two bodies are the same. No two bodies recover the same way. Number one, really, what we look at is your anatomy, right? Because a lot of things change. There is something called the DRAM check, right? Is one thing that I do after 40 days. Now, again, it depends on whether the student or the client has had a C-section or a natural delivery, have the stitches healed? Is it still raw? You're constantly in touch with the doctor as well, because you always have to get a green signal medically to start working on a body, right? And then gradually, because it's 9 months of all that hormones, pushing out hormones that are just like really stretching you out, preparing your body to create space and then have that healthy baby, and then honestly takes that whole 9 months to come back. But what we can do is after, say, about I called it the fourth trimester is something that I feel that we should have after the 3 trimesters. The fourth trimester is so important because your hormones are coming back into sync. Just think of like 9 months of this big bizarre circus, and then you can't rapidly have it synced, So for me, how we start is, number one, we start with a lot of pranayam, a lot of breath work, and really working the body to sort of bringing back that muscle memory of engaging your core. So breathwork, pranayam, because that really is sort of starting to help you balance your hormones, right? And postpartum depression, postpartum in general is a real thing.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people feel so much and you can never know till you're in that place. So most importantly, we address the hormones. Our goal is to bring the hormones back into sync. Second is to engage that core and engage it correctly and then strengthen it. When I mean engaging core, I don't mean that, just start holding planks. I mean like basic, small, very tiny exercises and movement to sort of get that core to start moving in the sense that your body starts remembering, because your body has all this muscle memory, right? So once your body starts remembering, then it's easy. So once the foundation has been clear and we know that we're not going to have any injuries, that's when we start building up. I have to tell you one funny thing though. If you know what a Bhujangasana, the cobra pose is, everybody loves it. So now when you're pregnant, you can't do that. You can't do a deep back bend. You can't do a chakrasana. You can't do a Bhujangasana, right? And I kid you not, that smile that I see on everybody postpartum when they do the Bhujangasana and they're finally opening up the spine is so beautiful. And they feel like this amazing relief. But more importantly, that also shows that we've strengthened and corrected the spine correctly, And when I mean corrected, I mean that sometimes basically if you have like a diastasis recti, which is like a breakage in, for layman terms, when your entire abdominal muscle, think of it as rubber, has been elastic and then it snaps. You have to work on it to like build it, yeah. So there are these small things which I feel is very, very important to take care of. And then, after that, 3 months in your fourth trimester, and then you're back on to sort of getting on a really strict repertoire of what goals you have.
Right. But is it difficult? Like, for example, somebody like say specifically like a Deepika versus a body with like an Alia or like a Bebo, they're very different bodies. So while somebody of her stature who's already so much into fitness might not gain so much weight and does not show, there could be somebody else who does gain a lot of weight. So like as a girl, like do these conversations also happen in terms of the body going through so many changes and even mentally then affecting you, right? How do you tap into that? Because you mentioned the holistic approach, and I think that's very key for everybody even watching to understand if they're going through that shift.
You know what? I have been lucky because all of them, I've been working with them prior to them getting pregnant, right? So it's not somebody that's new. And you always have that connection with a teacher, a teacher-student relationship, a friend-to-friend relationship. So you're always sharing. And I feel like we are creating that safe space every single time we're on the mat together. Yeah. So yes, it could be, some days you wake up and you just don't feel very good about yourself. And there could be no reason, but that also happens even when you're not pregnant, right? Sure. So I think for me, I feel like I'm just the tool to bring awareness. And I do believe that because I don't feel like I or anybody else can really help solve anything that somebody else is going through at that moment. But of course, there are conversations, which also means that postpartum has been, again, it's mental health, it's picked up in the last few years, right? Yeah. This is the conversation now. So these conversations we've had with every single student. So once the student is aware, I think when they are going through the waves of even maybe just a single emotion, they are aware.
Yeah.
And once that awareness happens, we do a lot of breath work. And why I keep saying breath work and pranayam? Because think about your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic. Your sympathetic is the fight and flight, crazy, aggressive, your parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and relax. So the second you tap into that, automatically it's taking the stress away. Automatically you start feeling better. Automatically you get into that kindness zone towards yourself. You're no longer feeling fat. You're feeling like I am nurturing my baby, So that shift happens and you have to be very aware. Otherwise, it's a downward spiral for every single person. And coming to different pregnancies, of course, the similarity between all of them has been that they've all been active.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been, yeah. So like that is one, because I have actually, now that I think of it, when it comes to the entertainment industry, I don't think I've worked with anybody who's not been active pre-pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I don't know a body to compare it to, but I'm pretty sure that there are differences, because I've trained a lot of other people. Some people who just walk into a class when they're pregnant and say, now we want to stay fit. And like that, it doesn't work like that. So I've had that too. So I do realize that maybe it's not with the actors, because unfortunately or fortunately, they've all been fit throughout. But I've had other students, yeah.
Yeah, where it's just suddenly they're like, okay, now I want to get fitter. But Anshika, what I also want to talk to you about is moving away from pregnancy, like the younger girls. I saw a picture on your Instagram where you've again posted about breath work. I feel that's your favorite, with Ananya as well. She's in her, late 20s and like a very young body type, etc. For girls like that who belong to that generation, who probably are just like now getting into the whole it girl syndrome and yoga syndrome, etc., what's your advice?
Okay, so I have to tell you about Ananya. I started working with her on the sets of Gehraiyaan because I was already training Deepika. And Deepika was her character, the protagonist was a yoga teacher in that film. And by default, when I started training her, I mean, I know she wanted to train, obviously, but I also felt a little hesitation about her being unsure about the practice. But the second she was on the mat, oh my God, I remember Ananya being up to do all those fun things, inversions, headstands, arm balances, all that real juicy stuff, and a lot of pranayam. You'll be surprised that the younger generation is so aware of mental health and all the other benefits. I also know that she runs a foundation where she talks about anti-bullying or something like that. I'm not too sure, but I know that the foundation of that, again, is based on mental health.
Yeah.
So it's been fantastic training her. And I feel like she's such a great icon for the younger generation, and everybody wants to look like Ananya, wants to do her practices.
Yeah.
When she's been packed so much outside the studio and people know that she's been coming, I remember a lot of people saying, we want to do that aerial pose that Ananya did, or we want to hang a certain, so it's amazing. I mean, the impact that she's created is beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually, I think we all call her the Kendall Jenner of India, given that she's the young person, the inspiration for many girls out there. And we look out, to her, and then we all want to look like her as well. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Anshuka, I also want to discuss a little bit about just yoga by far in general. I feel like what's happening is that as a way of wellness, as a way of fitness, and a way of working out, there have just been so much awareness of it much recently, although it's been a practice that's been there बहुत पहले से. Why do you feel that shift has suddenly happened? According to you, is it because I feel like this whole padding, when they see like an icon or somebody aspirational doing it, it then sort of has a ripple effect and then it becomes like a movement? Or is it that you also feel now with like people walking into your studio that the mindset is changing because the world is also evolving? So what according to you as an instructor it is at this point?
Honestly, it's a mixture of all of them. And as somebody who's a business owner, when I literally live and breathe yoga. What I've understood that there have been pivotal change was when, for me, at least when I started off, was when Kareena Kapoor started doing yoga. She made yoga cool in this country. People were talking about Surya Namaskars being cool. So that, that sort of myth busting of yoga is boring went away. Then our prime minister came in and started celebrating our yoga day and made sure that we were, sort of put on the international platform and we were given our due. Right. That we have created this beautiful lifestyle practices, which is always going to keep you not only, I mean, mindful, but it's your entire well-being. So that was the second. And the third, of course, there's been a big shift, but I feel that shift has also come because of social media, because your awareness and you're educated every single day. Of course, I'm not going to say that social media is all accurate, right. But I do feel that a lot of positive has happened more than negative when it comes to certain awareness about these practices.
Right.
So, and I'm talking about, because I also do kids classes, right? My youngest student has been 2.5 years old, right? Today I have kids that are 2.5 years old. We have teenagers that come in. We have women that have just been married we have men that are working and balancing their lives with yoga, not just the gym. We have women that are pregnant that are doing movement. So I feel like I never ever saw this. And this entire community building that our country is seeing, we have like that pop culture, where we have cafes coming up, we have, so I think all of that, I think it's an amalgamation of everything. But I do sincerely believe that it did start from, Bebo saying that yoga. And I remember the size zero time where she was doing all so much yoga, and she was such a big advocate, where I've had people walk into the studio saying, "Mujhe Bebo ki tarah, dikhna hai." And it was so interesting because I'm like, these are the same people that are walking into the studios for a physical goal. But the second they finish 2-3 classes, their goals change. I would see people that walk in and they want to do, say, for example, 108 Surya Namaskars is something that I also talk about. It's a beautiful practice, but for them, it's cardio in their head. Till they start doing the practice and realize that it's so much more than just moving and burning calories. So I think it's just all of it.
Lastly, Anshika, before I let you go, I have to ask you very imperative. Since you've been a part of Deepika's journey from Gehraiyan to like now when she's a mother and everybody is so excited. I want to know, like, how has your journey been training Deepika on the sets of Gehraiyan? Like, how intense were those workouts versus now when she was pregnant with you? How did that sort of shift happen with you and her?
So, when we started working together, first it was so different, because not only was I working with her as a yoga teacher, I was also creatively involved in the process of that film, So all the yoga sequences is something that I have choreographed. Like I was sort of that creative yoga director, and the team of Shakun Batra was the director.
That a couple of times.
Yes,
she keeps mentioning that most of it was her, and we've done a collaborative effort together and stuff like that.
And so for her, I was also a character that she was playing, right? Because she's a yoga teacher. So it was so different, because not only was it conversations about doing that certain repertoire, it was why, it was the strategy behind it, it was why this was designed a certain way. It was also what am I feeling at that point, or why I'm standing a certain way, and what my life has been, right? So there was a lot of sharing. And also through the process, there was a lot. It was intense training, of course, because if you've seen her, I was looking at her and I'm like, wow, this is like somebody who's just been practicing all their lives. Because yoga asanas, yes, you don't have to be the most flexible and you don't have to be the most bendy. But when you do practice a lot, you do have a certain sense of rhythm. And that came so naturally to her. Like everything comes so naturally to her. Firstly, she's beautiful. Everything is so, it's so, how do I put it? I feel like it's the most symmetrical beauty that I've ever seen, and it's beautiful to see on the mat because she just fluid and flowing.
She has a very yogi body. Like when I look at you right now, upper structure to her, like she's matched it, I feel, when she was doing it.
And her posture, because when we talk about yoga, it's synonymous to posture and spine health, etc. When you see Deepika, you feel like you need to straighten out your spine even further, in general. So those conversations were very interesting. And I remember when we were like discussing the choreographies, we would always discuss about why we are doing a certain, because even the technicalities are all accurate. There's nothing that, where we are just, oh, this looks beautiful, so we should do it. So that mindset, that character that she had to play. And what I realized then, it's all about the breath, because when someone's getting into character, it's how you're breathing. When you're angry, you're very shallow, like in our day-to-day, all of us. When we're angry or when we are excited or whatever, different emotions, I also realized that it has a lot, there's a big play on your breath work. And maybe that's why I feel like it's all about your breath, that one constant. We also did a lot of intimate.
Like, did you guys train a lot before, like for her to look like the certain way or the part?
We actually started training online. The first time I met Deepika was on this, because it was COVID. So nobody was allowed to leave their houses. And the first time we were allowed and put in that bubble was when I met her live. And the first time we met is when she did an independent headstand. And I remember, because when I was training online, which means literally I had no touch or feel, it was just that awareness. Because when somebody's so aware of their body already, it's a lot of fun training together. Because when you're just cueing them with those words, they're understanding. So you won't believe it. The first time, I remember we were doing, all the 4 actors that were in the film, we were doing a workshop we did a lot of intimacy workshop because there were a lot of intimacy
Seems true.
scenes in the film. So the director had told me that he wants body language to be very trusting towards one another, you know. So we did do a lot of partner work to make everyone feel very comfortable with each other. So I remember Deepika's first day she did a headstand, and I remember telling her that, you know, I have a feeling the day we meet, you're going to do it independently. And we obviously didn't believe it till it happened. So that was, I mean, and through the time was just super fun. After that, of course, there have been different roles. So it's always been focusing on certain strength, endurance, stamina, etc., keeping the umbrella holistic. And then through the pregnancy, you know, it's been so much fun because I feel like, again, with the awareness that, let me tell you, a prenatal workout can be as hard as somebody that's not pregnant. Only you don't have to do certain things. Sometimes you can go even harder, like, because you're carrying so much more weight, so you land up working so much more. So through the pregnancy, it's been a breeze. I think we've been working almost every other day, and I think the last trimester, so I think almost every day. You know, and very enjoyable, which doesn't mean that, you know, some days when we felt like, okay, today maybe we just want to do a restorative class, you know. So we would just go into a restorative mode. If some days we felt like we needed to push strength, it was just fun. And I'm telling you, it's for all the women out there, please be active, because if you want to have babies, your body changes. But if you have been active before, your body does change, but you can handle those changes, you know? So yeah, so a lot of fun. And then we would come up with new sequences together. Like, okay, this maybe feels a little better. So you know, so it was just a lot of communication, a lot of trust. And today we have a happy, healthy baby.
Yeah, I know you. Were you part of Alia's journey too?
Yes.
Listen, you're a baby magician. I feel that.
I've been called that, you know, by a lot of people's like husbands. They've come and thanked me also. It's quite overwhelming.
And okay, very quickly then tell me, how is it like with Alia?
So Alia was pregnant. There was also a bit that we had COVID.
Yeah.
And one thing that was very interesting with Alia was she was working on her first Hollywood film with what's her Wonder Woman. I forgot her name. Alia Bhatt's first Hollywood film is where she was working with a lot of action was when she was pregnant. Of course, I knew that.
Yeah.
So for me, and we were working remotely for a while too when she was on set internationally. Unfortunately, at that point, I did not travel. It was COVID. You know, it was crazy. So I remember at that point, again, awareness is so important because anybody else, I would not train online. You know, I would not be okay with doing that because of the action sequences.
Right.
Because not that we do online training all the time, not because of that, but because of the action sequences, we couldn't. There was so much that we had to do with that stipulated time. So that was different. And I mean, I don't think anybody could tell that she went through it again like a breeze. Like there was no stress. Again, it's the way you approach it. I think, again, I just have been blessed with a lot of people that the attitude is everything, you know. That's so underrated because the way you approach it, like even our mothers and their mothers, if you just know that it's a natural process and you have to make just some adjustments around it, it becomes a cakewalk, really. You know, I'm not saying it's the simplest thing. Of course it's not, you know, but it's your attitude at the end of the day and how you're approaching it.
Last sentence from your end in terms of what next for you, Anshika.
So much more, man. So excited. There's lots of things in the pipeline. And hopefully when you're in the studio, inverted on one of my hammocks, I will tell you all about it.
Perfect. We can't wait to catch you super soon then. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
Super looking forward to being there in your studio right now while chatting with you.